All right, so the
Right.
big news and the bad news out of that from the Browns is that Odell Beckham Jr. out for the season. Who knows how long that'll be? That's a tough injury, and the timing is not good for a variety of reasons. So what do you do if you're the Browns? You know, somebody brought up, well, maybe Baker Mayfield was trying to please Odell Beckham the whole season and was maybe making plays he shouldn't have just to please somebody. That it sounded crazy at the time, but the more you think of it, maybe there's something to that.
Well, it's a double-edged sword because here's the thing. Odell Beckham Jr. is basically a Hall of Fame caliber talent. Now, I don't know if he'll get there because he would still have to put together a lot of really, really good seasons, but he has generational type receiving ability and talent, and we've seen that time and time again. However, Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. didn't necessarily make beautiful music or magic together. So I think they will be able to overcome this. It will take a small village. They will need to use a lot of different people to fill the roles that Odell did. And he took away a lot of coverage from other people, often drew double teams and things like that. So you're definitely going to miss an Odell Beckham Jr. But there is something to be said for the fact that, Baker Mayfield just didn't really have the kind of connection with Odell that you would have hoped that they would have had if you were the Browns.
So what do you do? Do you take the playbook and open it up to the tight end section and you put more emphasis on the tight end? Or do you look for a trade? Do you look for the waiver wires? Waiver wires doesn't pick up somebody that is going to do what Odell Beckham Jr. could do for you.
No, no, you're not going to find a guy like that. But I do think that they have some interesting things that they can do. Like you mentioned, they have three really good tight ends. They actually have four on the roster, but they have three really good tight ends. They can use more tight ends. And then they have some receivers who have not really been used very much that can come in here and help make a difference. That's Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples Jones, Kadero Hodge is coming back off of IR, and then you still have Taywan Taylor. So there's a lot of guys that can come in and do the job. Chad O'Shea is an excellent wide receivers coach, and I think he's done a terrific job with these guys. So I think just in the same way that they had to use multiple people to make up for the loss of Nick Chubb, they'll do the same thing with Odell Beckham Jr. Not replace him, but fill the holes as best they can.
Am I crazy here, or could David Njoku play wide receiver in any way?
Not necessarily wide receiver. I mean, he could. I mean, he could, but I think you'll just see a lot more of the two tight end sets and sometimes the three tight end sets. They will utilize those guys that they have that can go down and make plays. And David Njoku is basically a deep threat as well. So he will be able to fulfill some of what is lost by Odell Beckham Jr.
Have